You know, I'm not going to say I disagree with the idea of Derek Carr being a disappointment to the Raiders. I thought he's a fine football player, but I just don't know how much of the blame of how bad the team has been at times falls on Derek Carr. I mean, it's been a ton of coaching changes. It's been a lot of toxic culture that takes place there. I've experienced toxic culture firsthand. I don't care how good your team is, personnel-wise, players. I don't care how good your coaches are. If your environment is that of a toxic environment, you generally never see those teams have success. Now, I will say they hit an all-time low. Well, not really an all-time low, but they definitely hit a low by making what appeared to be seemingly a splash hiring of Josh McDaniels, and then Josh McDaniels comes in and he wets the bed, so to speak, in the type of season that he had.
Exactly a splash.
Yeah, well, it was the wrong splash. It was the splash you wake up and you got to take the sheets off of the bed and tell your significant other or your parents that I wet the bed. Yeah, well, there you go.
Okay.
You know.
But, this is what
I'm just saying.
You know what? Listen, I can't put it all on Derek Carr like you said because I'm looking at their losses last year in the first 5 games. 4 out of their 5 losses, I think they lost by a combined 9 or 10 points. So they were in position to get these W's and win these games, but for some strange reason, they just couldn't get it done. And I look at Derek Carr leaving the Raiders and going to the New Orleans Saints, and I'm saying to myself, New Orleans Saints, what do you see or what are you seeing in Derek Carr that we are missing? Because if my memory serves me correctly, the Las Vegas Raiders played the New Orleans Saints last year in New Orleans, and the Saints beat the Raiders 24-0. And guess who was the starting quarterback of that team? It was Derek Carr. And if you're a head coach or the GM, general manager, and you're responsible for putting players on a roster that can go out and perform, after you watch Derek Carr basically just get bombed and depleted in your arena and you lose a football game 24-0, and you go out there and you sign this man to a $100 million guaranteed contract to be the quarterback of your franchise, what the hell are y'all doing down there in New Orleans? That makes 0 sense to me from an organization to go out and to try to better your football team, and you just beat this man 24-0 last year.
Now, number one, the Saints' defense is pretty good, and last year, Derek Carr wasn't the Derek Carr we had become accustomed to seeing.
What Derek Carr have you been accustomed to seeing?
Derek Carr has been a good quarterback his entire career until last year. And
what you mean Devontae Adams had 1,500 yards?
Listen, when you're playing from behind, Devontae Adams had his yards, but Derek Carr didn't have the type of season he normally has. And I just go back to the previous season, not the 22 season, the 21 season.
Okay.
Your head coach gets fired. You have the incident and tragedy with Henry Ruggs. You have the incident with Arnett on social media.
Okay.
What did Derek Carr do?
Waller goes down.
That's as much adversity as you can have in a season. Bisaccia becomes an interim head coach. Derek Carr not only shows how good of a leader he is, he shows how good of a player he is by taking the Raiders to the playoffs and literally within one play of beating the Bengals and winning that playoff game. And so once Derek Carr did what he did in that 21 season, considering all the adversity they had faced up until that point, that showed me he can get it done. I don't know what happened last year because Derek Carr, he had some good games, but he had a lot more bad than good. And the thing that strikes me is when he got benched, guys, they started Jarrett Stidham. Do you guys know who Jarrett Stidham had to play against in his first start? You guys remember that?
No.
I'm going to tell you. He had to go against the San Francisco 49ers. Jarrett Stidham and that defense, and at that time, everybody was talking, man, the 49ers defense might be one of the best we've seen.
LaVar.
All he did was throw for over 300 yards. So that's where I'm like.
That's a dope defense.
And so when Stidham can come in his first start and have that type of game, it's something with McDaniels and Carr that they just didn't mesh. They didn't mesh. But if I'm the Saints, I have no problem having Derek Carr as my quarterback because over the course of his career, he's played good football. Last year, I have no idea what happened. But you take away last year, Derek Carr has been very, very good.
So you're basically saying that the blame for what the Raiders put on display last year has more to do with Josh McDaniels than Derek Carr.
Absolutely. Now, look at how many games they were winning. And let's go to the Baker Mayfield game when they played the Rams. That game is over. It's third and I believe third and 19.
Yeah.
And the defensive coordinator played press man.
Yes, I remember.
Come on.
Yes, he did.
You tell me how you play press man-to-man on third and 19.
Yeah.
We ain't even doing that in Madden. Like,
I've
come on.
I've done it before. And I'll say this: head coach and Josh McDaniels may not mesh well as either. I mean, Derek Carr and Josh McDaniels, head coach of Josh McDaniels. I mean, it just seems like those are things that don't seem to go together. But hey, that's just my opinion on it. We'll see how it all plays out. And speaking of Josh McDaniels, he's reuniting with Jimmy Garoppolo, and Jimmy G signs with the Raiders. What do you guys see? How do you guys see this playing out for Josh McDaniels, the Raiders, and Jimmy Garoppolo?
TJ, is Jimmy Garoppolo an upgrade from Derek Carr?
Plex, that's a loaded question. To answer, is
face value? Face value is
okay,
yes.
Is he an upgrade with the Las Vegas Raiders? Yes, he is.
Face value is yes.
Is he a better quarterback than Derek
Face
Carr?
value, what do you mean?
Absolutely not.
Face value. I mean, you look at
how they look in person.
No. Face value. The success that Garoppolo has had as a starting quarterback is definitely an upgrade to Derek Carr.
He's an upgrade because he understands that system. He understands what McDaniel wants. They get each other. He's played under him.
He's a winner.
But he's not a better quarterback than Derek Carr. He is absolutely not a better quarterback. But in Las Vegas, it is an upgrade. If
he's
you ask
a winner.
me, that's an upgrade. That's an upgrade. Yeah.
Jimmy Garoppolo's a winner.
Yeah.
Based on what?
Winning.
Those defenses he plays with.
Y'all some haters,
I
man.
totally disagree.
We keeping it a buck.
Y'all some haters, man.
I'm not a hater. Don't
LaVar.
call him a winner. Don't call him a winner when he hasn't
won
won
memory lane,
anything.
LaVar. Let's go down memory lane, LaVar.
If his defense was as good as they were supposed to be in the Super Bowl, Jimmy Garoppolo would have an MVP.
You said that they had the best defense in football last year.
He have an MVP award and a Super Bowl trophy.
LaVar, can we go down memory lane? Because I don't recall this completely, but I recall some of this. You remember when the San Francisco 49ers played the Green Bay Packers and how many times they let Jimmy G throw the ball? Do you remember that?
I don't recall that game.
Less than 10 in the playoff games in today's game.
There was something that was wrong.
Yeah, that Jimmy G was the quarterback. That was what was wrong.
You cannot call somebody a winner. You cannot call somebody a winner when they have not won anything.
Effort.
Hey, Ryan, please pull up those stats from the Green Bay game in the playoffs, please.
Hey,
here they want.
Just
please.
because TJ's screaming over me doesn't change how
he's not a winner.
What's Jimmy Garoppolo's record as a 49er?
No, he's a winner.
He's a winner.
I'll give you that.
He is a winner.
Hey, Ryan, can you please pull up the stats from that Green Bay game, please, Ryan?
And to win football games, you have to be available and healthy, and that's one of the things that Jimmy G has not been able to be over the last few years.
He's been healthy enough to make them a Super Bowl competitive team.
In
the
San
Francisco
Francisco,
49ers are growing.
Hold on.
They're growing with Brock Purdy, man.
What we got, Ryan?
Well, in San Francisco, he was 38-17.
Wow. Sounds like winning to me.
They're going with Brock Purdy.
How many? Do you see one Super Bowl appearance? What? How many?
No.
How many playoff?
Hey, Ryan,
appearances?
I need the stats from that Green Bay game, please. Thank you.
I'm just saying.
I got him, guys. 11 out of 19 for 131 yards, no touchdown passes, 1 interception. Quarterback
And
rating of 57.1.
That's horrible.
They were scared to throw the ball.
There was
Well,
he might.
there's
There is an element here that is not being mentioned, and I don't remember the game, so I do not.
No, I
have
do remember the
angle.
game. It was the game prior where Shanahan was scared to let him throw the ball. They had a 2-minute drill before the first half, and they ran the clock out because they were scared
You do
to
realize
let him throw the ball.
You do realize that Jimmy Garoppolo in the Super Bowl gave the 49ers a 2-possession lead of 10 points against the Kansas City Chiefs.
And I do recall that Emmanuel Sanders was wide open also.
And
Jimmy
everybody
Garoppolo threw the ball.
everybody wants to look at the missed throw by Garoppolo, after which they gave up, their defense gave up a 2-possession game lead.
All I'm saying is this. Everything's going to be on Josh McDaniels for him moving forward, because he has this guy now, Jimmy Garoppolo. If Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't go in there and play well,
Then he's got to go. And
All
that's
right.
got to be, and it's got to be Josh McDaniels' last opportunity to be a
Absolutely.
head coach. I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
And that's fair is fair. That just is what it is. So good luck to you, Josh McDaniels.
no more excuses.
No more excuses.